Imagine we all, as farmers, standing in the field, not guessing, but actually knowing the exact day to plant. In order for us to catch the life saving rain and receive warning alerts about some pest attacks, even before these pests kill a single stalk. What if you could stop losing half of your harvest and feed your family more? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Smart Farm app. Now, this work was done by an amazing team called the Pathfinders in the ALS peer group of professional foundation course. Now, I want you to meet this amazing set of people. We have Derek Jeffrey Thompson, primary project manager, Gabriel Mpango, backup project manager, Fides Oshanse, primary product manager, Timothy Miriti, backup product manager. We have Moro Tombozi, our UI researcher. My humble self, Mbai Yunan Chukwibuka, the UX, primary UX designer. We have Victor Ochoma Divine, backup UX designer. Victoria Udo, primary data analyst, and Thomas Saturday Gallo, backup data analyst. Now, this problem is, as you can see, one of the grand challenges of the world, which is agriculture. So, what is actually the problem here? Now, we're going to be limiting ourselves to the sub-Saharan Africa. Now, smallholder farmers in sub-Saharan Africa are experiencing a severe decline in crop yields due to climate change, low soil fertility, and limited access to contemporary agricultural advancements, especially in technology and other supplies. And this is leading to widespread food insecurity and economic stability. Now, this problem matters because the sustained decline in yields is directly affecting over 150 million people. These people depend on the smallholder farming, and it has actually perpetuated to rural poverty and hindered regional development. Now, we have a severe case here. One case that we was shocking to us that we had to treat specifically. One John Dewey. This man is a 48-year-old man who cultivates wheat, corn, and tomatoes. Now, one certain thing is that when the erratic rains lead to failed planting window or late detected pest outbreak, it halves this man's farm yield. What does that mean? Now, when the fails to come or the pest attack, we discover that this man gets half of what he's supposed to get in a season. And this affects him both in his finances, both in the way he feeds his children, and this results to debt. Because if he can't have um, enough crop yields, he borrows money to meet other demands of his family, thereby putting his family in a rural poverty. Now, one striking thing about this research is that we had to find certain interventions which can mitigate this problem, and we came up with a quite number of them. We have government policies, supportive government policies. You can see it has quite a huge percentage to in addressing this issue. The rural infrastructure, financial inclusion, agricultural extension services, modern farming equipment, soil fertility management, and climate smart agriculture. Now, when these interventions are plotted against themselves, which you will see in the next slide, you will find an important or a striking thing here. You can see when they are plotted against themselves in this chart, in this pie chart, you see that amongst all these ones, the one that has the highest impact is actually climate smart agriculture, followed by then supportive government policies. So, which means in order for us to address this issue, we have to look at these high impact interventions because they will have the highest impact on the problem. So, this led us to our solution. Like we saw in the last slide, we needed climate smart agriculture because it has the highest impact on the problem. So we came up with a solution of an AI powered farming app. This is a mobile app that uses satellite data and AI to predict rainfall, suggest optimal planting times, and detect early signs of pest infections. Now, why was this solution chosen? It addresses climate uncertainty, it overcomes resource gaps, and is feasible for the user. This solution is likely to be effective because it increases yields, enhances collaboration, and is scalable. Now, after our prototype, we have the user interface where we have this app was divided into six sections. We have the home view, as you can see. We have the weather view. We have the crop view. We have this is the pest view. We have the chart view, and lastly the profile view. Now, after testing with users, we discovered they had quite some challenges while using this app. Firstly, and we came up with we highlighted three of the most striking challenges that they have. One of them has to do with the internet dependency. It said the internet dependency could be a challenge in rural areas. There are need for more crop recommendations. You know, the app recommended four crops. We know it's a prototype, but they had to remind us that the app recommended four crops, so it should be more. And then community sharing, where the farmers can post tips and ask questions, and enable offline data entry with so that led us to our recommendations and changes we are supposed to make in this app. Now, for the internet dependency, like we saw, we started to provide features in the application that we can pre-install. This feature has to be installed before the app. This will help them because these features will have farming practices and routines. Because if we can't just look at it and not involve data, because if we need real time weather forecast, it actually needs a lot of data and internet connectivity. Now, for the recommendations of crops, we start to include more varieties of crops in the crop layout. Now, what about the funding? Now, after funding, now this is a project that we are pushing to the greatest limit. Now, this the post-funding era we divide into three sections, each of them having 6 months interval, 6 months each. We have the phase one, which is the deepen and scale. Here we plan to expand to at least 50,000 farmers using this app. Now, the phase two, we have the ecosystem integration, which we tend to launch financial inclusion partnerships where we can actually give micro loans to farmers and enable them grow. Now, the impact validation. This is where we plan to go global, like to move a step further, like expand our horizon, like leave the sub-Saharan African and broaden a little bit. Now, in the conclusion, we can discover that the problem matters because the sustained decline in yields directly threatens the food security and economic stability of over 150 million people who depend on smallholder farming, trapping families in the cycle of rural poverty. Now, our AI powered farming app makes an important difference because it is the most scalable and accessible intervention to combat the climate crisis at the farm level. It moves farming from risky guesswork to proactive, data driven adaptation, providing the specific knowledge, optimal planning dates, early pest warnings, necessary to secure harvest and achieve a measurable, sustainable increase in family income across the continent. Now, in appendix, we decided to put certain features that were not discussed but needs to be talked about um, in terms of the data facts, similar success. Um, where this method has been used before, we can see it in South Asia. It was used and study partners who to collaborate with in order for us to achieve success in this app. And finally, I would like to thank the team. The team did exceptionally well in this project. I'd like to also thank the ALS team for this wonderful course, the Professional Foundation course, which has brought like-minded people, people with vision, and to work on this app. So thank you, and I'm really privileged to present this. Thank you, and God bless.